So let's talk about it. We've got to tackle one of the biggest challenges facing any leader today: how to navigate this AI revolution. But you know what? Let's forget the hype. What you really need isn't more tech speak. It's a clear, simple framework for leading with confidence. And that's exactly what we're going to build together right now.
So, are you feeling it too? That sense that AI is just everywhere, changing everything almost overnight? You are definitely not alone. It's the buzz at every conference, right? The flood of articles in your inbox, and that little voice in the back of your head wondering, am I falling behind?
And that feeling, it's happening in boardrooms all over the world. Leaders are looking around, asking themselves if they're truly ready for what's coming. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The real challenge with AI, and the solution, has almost nothing to do with the technology itself.
To really get this, we need a fundamental reframe. We're going to stop obsessing over the tech for a minute and focus on what's really at the heart of this whole transformation.
This quote from MIT's Dr. George Westerman just hits the nail on the head. See, the problem isn't the digital part, the code, the algorithms, all that stuff. The real problem, the tough nut to crack, is the transformation part. It's about changing how we think, how we work, and how we lead. Now, that's the hard part.
And that leads us to this crucial point. AI is not a tech problem. You can't just toss it over to your IT department and say, hey, you guys handle this. Nope, it's a leadership problem. It's about culture, mindset, and people. And once you truly get that, well, it changes the entire game. Okay, so how do we actually lead this kind of change? It all starts with one single critical shift in your mindset. And honestly, this one little idea is the difference between leaders who will thrive and those who are just going to struggle to keep up. So you've got a choice to make, and it's a big one. On the left, you've got the Oracle trap. That's where you go to AI and ask, tell me what to do, and then you just do it. That's not leading, folks. That's giving up your power. But on the right, you've got the partner approach, a totally different ballgame. Here, you're not asking for the answer. You're saying, hey, help me think about this in a new way. You, the human, are always in the driver's seat.
And this shift matters so much because it protects the very things that make human leaders irreplaceable. We're talking about your judgment, your wisdom from years of experience, your emotional intelligence, your gut feeling, and your ethics. In this new world, these aren't soft skills anymore. Oh no, they are your superpower, your absolute biggest competitive advantage. All right, enough about mindset. Let's get practical. Let's turn this idea into an actual playbook with frameworks you can start using, like today.
The path forward is something called regenerative learning. Just think of it like this. You've got to walk down two paths at the exact same time. On one path is the analytical stuff, getting the basics of the tech down. On the other path is the artistic side, doubling down on uniquely human skills like communication and empathy. The best leaders are getting better at both every single day.
Now, let's demystify that analytical side. Don't worry, it's easier than you think. You really just need to know the 4 flavors of AI. First, rule-based systems, which are just simple if this, then that logic. Then you've got statistical AI, which is great for finding patterns and making forecasts. Third is deep learning, for recognizing really complex stuff. And finally, the one everyone's talking about, generative AI, the engine that creates new text, images, and all that cool stuff.
And this is the perfect way to think about it. Look, you don't need to be a mechanic to be a great driver, right? You just need to know what the steering wheel and the pedals do. It is the exact same thing here. You don't need to learn to code to be an amazing AI leader. You just need to know the basics so you can pick the right tool for the job.
So how do you actually turn AI into a strategic partner? You use the CRI framework. First, C is for context. You have to give it the rich backstory. R is for role. Tell it who to be. A skeptical CFO, a creative marketing genius, whatever you need. I is for interview. And this right here is the secret sauce. You tell the AI to interview you first to get more detail. Only then, at the very end, do you give it the T, the task, and you ask for new ways of thinking, not just the answer.
Okay, that sounds cool in theory, right? But does it actually work in the real world? Oh, let me tell you. Here's an incredible story that shows just how powerful this approach can be.
So picture this. There's a CEO of a manufacturing company in Japan, and his company is literally weeks away from bankruptcy. He's tried everything. But the board refuses to restructure the company's debt because in their culture, it would mean a massive, unacceptable loss of honor or face. This wasn't a spreadsheet problem. It was a deep, emotional, human problem.
So, totally desperate, the CEO tries to Siri framework. He lays out all that messy human context, he tells the AI its role, and he lets it interview him.
And then the AI asked the question, a question so simple, so obvious in hindsight, yet so brilliant that he'd never even considered it. And that one question cracked the whole problem wide open. The solution that came out of that conversation was this idea of a saving face consortium. The CEO went to other respected executives outside his company, and they formed a group that acquired the debt on good terms. The result? The company was saved. And crucially, the board got to preserve its honor. No one lost face. See, the AI didn't give him the answer. It helped the leader find a better.
I mean, that story is just incredible. It shows what's truly possible. So now, let's bring this all back home. Let's talk about how you can move from just listening to this to actually doing this, starting right now. First, a little dose of reality. This isn't some far-off future we're talking about. It's happening right now. Just look at this. Nearly half of all jobs are going to be fundamentally changed by AI. Now that might sound scary, but I want you to see it differently. That's not a threat. That's a giant flashing neon sign that says opportunity is right here, but only for those who are ready for it.
And if you remember only one thing from our time together, please let it be this. AI is not going to take your job, but a person who has mastered using AI as their thought partner, they will. The race isn't against the machine. The race is to master working with the machine.
So where do you begin? Please do not go and launch some massive high-risk project. No. You start small. You start with tiny, consistent experiments. Here's a dead simple 4-week plan. Week 1, just ask an AI to summarize a long report. Week 2, use it to brainstorm some ideas. By week 3, you're ready to try the CIRI framework on a small challenge. These low-stakes actions are how you build real practical AI intuition.
So let's put it all together. Here is your entire path forward all on one slide. It starts with the mindset. AI is your thought partner, not an oracle. It's built on the framework of regenerative learning. You apply it using the method of the CIRI framework, and you master it through the practice of starting small and experimenting often.
And that brings us to the final, most important question of all, the one that moves all of this from just an interesting idea to a real change in how you lead. What is the very first strategic question you are going to explore with your new thought partner this week? Don't wait for the perfect one. Just start. Because really, the choice is simple. Are you going to lead this transformation, or are you going to be led by it? That choice begins right now.